The average Glock fanboy does not have the mental capacity nor cognitive ability of accepting the reality of Glock's betrayal to the American commercial market. If you've ever had to read hundreds of copium-fueled, fanatical Glock cult member comments defending and simping for the $1.1 billion Glock Incorporated, then go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. Today we're going to be going line by line through the most common Glock cult member defense comments in regards to the Glock situation. Now keep in mind, during my time on YouTube, I have encountered fanboy groups and cult groups such as TSOS, PSA, Aero Precision, you name it. I've had a ton of cult members in the comment section shilling, simping, defending for their favorite gun company, but none of which have been anywhere near the levels of copium and fanatical defense that is the average Glock fanboy when their company, Glock Incorporated, betrays the American commercial market and sells them out and stops the sale of all of their combat rated and duty handguns in the guise of being an upgraded trigger and a Glock V. So we're going to go line by line, comment by comment. I'm going to disprove you wrong with the facts of the situation. And let me know down below, whose side are you going to be on? Are you going to simp for the $1.1 billion boohoo poor Glock company that sells $600 pistols that only take $150 to manufacture? Or are you going to go to the side of the American commercial market, the side of the Second Amendment, and not sell your soul for a company just because they say they're perfection? What side are you on, dear viewer? And also leave your combat llama emojis down below. If you know, you know. Leave your llamas, and I look forward to seeing all of those loyal combat llamas in the comments below. Here we go. We have the iPad of truth here, and we're going line by line, boys and girls. Point number one, the Glock COA, or the Aimpoint Glock combo, was the early warning. As many of you guys know, Glock announced their duty-rated COA Aimpoint Glock combo for the Glock 19 and Glock 47 specifically, and a number of other models. These combos were designed for serious shooters and duty use. Then suddenly, all of a sudden overnight, Glock restricted the sale of them to law enforcement distributors only. Keep in mind, this channel does not represent the War Department, the United States Army, or any organization in any way. All of a sudden, overnight, Glock restricts the sale and cancels the commercial sale of the COA Aimpoint Glock. And now it's only for law enforcement, okay? So rules for thee, not for me. Interesting. This is where the foreshadowing began of what would later be known as Glock's betrayal to the American public. Then, all of a sudden, overnight, Glock says, hey, we're going to do a corporate retreat. We're no longer going to sell the generations 3 through 5, but they didn't announce it. They simply notified all of their FFLs and their distributors, hey, just so you guys are tracking, on November 30th, all of those double stack guns that people need for work or personal protection, home defense, concealed carry, you name it. Yeah, we're not going to sell those commercially anymore. We're still going to sell it to military and law enforcement vendors and support that, but we're going to tell them secretly that the V Glock will be an upgrade. But if you were a multi-million dollar, billion-dollar company, don't you think there would be a little bit of a marketing hype behind it if you were going to discontinue all of your guns, cancel yourself, literally cancel yourself with the disguise of it being an upgrade? Don't you think you would tell your marketing team, hey, make a couple social media posts, let people know this is going to happen, maybe 6 months in advance, or maybe at SHOT Show? No, they aren't doing that because they're being sued by 12 states as well as many other organizations in some cities, and they are simply doing it because the switch issue, the machine gun pistol rate modification device issue, and they are treating the American public like a criminal. Several other companies, I always use Daniel Defense as an example, have had much bigger issues and have fought back and won. So, if they were actually going to do a Generation 6 or a Glock V, it would be a massive press release. Instead, we had no press press release, no big Generation 6 fanfare, just a quiet pullback. This lines up perfectly with the lawsuits from states like Minnesota and cities like Chicago and Baltimore accusing Glock of negligence for allowing their pistols to be converted with rate modification devices and turn them into a machine gun pistol with these switches. If it was really innovation, something that Glock has never done in the 30 to 40 years that they've been around, then they would brag about it instead of hiding it. This is not progress. This is panic. Moving on to the slimline distraction. They will still be selling the 43, 43X, and the 48. And that's what they say. That's what civilians want to get now. It's so much copium that I cannot even accept it. I like to call this the slimline scraps or the scrap models. They'll still sell you the 43, the 43X, and the 48 because these are the tiny carry guns that they think that will market well. This isn't about serving the market. It's about reducing liability. Glock is covering their own you-know-what, and they're disguising it as getting your back. And it is so disgraceful. By the way, if you haven't left a like or a comment down below, please do so. It helps out more than you know. It is disgraceful to say, oh, we're getting your back, guys. We're going to give you a better gun, but it's not going to be backwards compatible with the Generation 5. We're not going to sell the Generation 3, even though everyone else is selling a gun. And the moment that they release the Generation V or V Glock, I can almost promise you, while I'm not advocating for any illegal activity, if I was a betting man, I would say that within a couple days, there's going to be rate modification machine gun pistol devices out there with the use of things like, I don't know, 3D chess, printers, you name it, okay? So, before you go in the comments of this video and defend them again, maybe just pick a different company, okay? Let's move on. They're selling you pocket pistols while keeping the war guns behind the badges. I'm kind of proud of that. They're selling you the pocket pistol, the 43X, the 48, while keeping the go-to-war guns behind the badge. You got to have a badge or you got to have some sort of patch to be able to purchase that gun. You better have your blue label ready because you're not able to get it if you're just a regular normie. Moving on. It's just smart business. The James Reeves defense. Oh man, the copium of James Reeves is disgraceful. Fanboys will say that it's just smart business defense. All the fanboys say they're just protecting themselves from frivolous lawsuits. In reality, Gaston Glock, rest in peace, didn't build his empire by bending the knee. He fought every lawsuit and refused to compromise his design. The new corporate leadership is doing the opposite. Legal retreat disguised as evolution and advancement in technology. It's a lie. And every freaking time, here's some Fallout 4 vibes, by the way, something to look at other than me. Every single time Glock tells you something, you should just look at it for what it is. It's not them innovating. It's not them advancing the technology. They are simply bending over backwards to anti-Second Amendment legislation and betraying you, the American public. The bottom line here, Gaston Glock fought back. He defended his creation while he was still alive. And rest in peace, sir, because you gave us an amazing product. And no one is saying that the Glock is a bad pistol, by the way. I'm not saying that the Generation 5 or Generation 3 pistols are bad. I love them. I have a ton of them. They're my favorite freaking guns. However, if you're not going to stand behind your commercial market and you're going to put it behind a paywall or behind a badge, I can't. And while Gaston Glock was still alive, he defended it. He always pushed back against litigation, and he never accepted defeat. Oh, we're cooking now. It's just a supply issue cop-out. Okay. I had speculation during the Acro, the Aimpoint COA pullback, because I wanted one. I even made a video saying, hey, I want a Glock 19 or a Glock 17, Glock, COA. I want an Aimpoint Glock because that would be awesome. But then when they said, hey guys, it's a supply issue, we're having trouble funding people like ICE. We're having funding giving all the DHS guns out, and some organizations I can't talk about here. We're having trouble giving them all the guns. We're going to pull back for only our military and law enforcement vendors. That was the first red flag. No company with Glock's infrastructure suddenly has supply chain issues. That's not a shortage. That is a strategic withdrawal. If they wanted to, they could flood the market right now, but they won't. They won't because of the liability exposure of what they are claiming quietly. It's not about what they can't make, it's about what they won't risk selling to you. Next point I want to talk about, the law enforcement and military first excuse. Fanboys say they're focusing on contracts. That's smart business. Sure, it's profitable, but morally, it's betrayal. Glock built its brand on the backs of American civilians. The people who bought the Gen 3s, the 19s, the 17s, the 34s, the 47s, the 26s, the freaking Glock 20s for Bear Country. That's what they built their freaking company on. Now they're telling those same people that you're a legal risk. We'll stick with the cops. We'll stick with the soldiers. I don't represent the War Department of the United States Army in any way again, but we're going to stick with them because they have the big bucks, and hey, thanks for your help along the way, but we're betraying you. They used to serve the American public, and now they manage it like a liability spreadsheet. Gaston. Rest in peace, sir. Gaston would have done the same thing. That is the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard. No, he wouldn't have. The man was arrogant, respectfully, stubborn, and defiant, but he did not cave to pressure for his design and for his baby. He did not cave to pressure. Modern Glock is run by executives who speak corporate PR, woke, they're not grit and steel. Gaston built a gun that stood up to everything, and now the company won't stand up to anything. Guys, I could go on and on. The legacy that's slipping away. Glock made its name on reliability, simplicity, and backbone. But every time the company quietly restricts, hides, or updates a product, they lose a piece of that legacy. And every time fanboys defend those decisions, instead of demanding accountability, they become part of the decay. This isn't innovation, it's surrender in slow motion. The Glock you loved isn't dying from bad design, it's dying from corporate cowardice. And the fanboys, they're too busy clapping to notice the lights going out. I'm not saying the Glock itself is junk, the product is awesome, but I'm saying it's lost its backbone as a company. And if you're a real fan, you don't cover for that, you call it out, because Glock loyalty isn't silence. Loyalty is holding the line when the brand won't. I am done ranting at you with the iPad of truth. Guys, if you have come to the reality of the situation, hopefully with this video, hit the like button. Let me know what you're going to carry. You can still carry your Glock 19 or your Glock 17 or 26. No one's saying that. But what I'm saying is don't blindly defend them in the face of the situation. I'm carrying a staccato and I love it. I'm having, weird flex, I know. I'm having a blast. I am having a blast carrying this staccato. It's been a blast. The video will be out tomorrow on the Burn Down series. This thing has been awesome. I love it. And all I'm telling you guys to do, or encouraging you to do, is stand behind a company and buy a product that will stand for you. Don't just blindly defend Glock because they've always had your back. No. Carry the Glock 17 Gen 5 that you have, or the 26, or the 19, cool. But accept the reality that this is not innovation, this is betrayal. To the Glock fanboy that's inevitably just going to be upset because I told them that their gun company betrayed you, I don't know what else to do. I've laid out the facts here for you. You will have to make an educated decision on your own. Thanks for being here, guys, and until next time, this is going to be the Combat Llama signing out. Until next time, this is going to be the Combat Llama signing out. Cheers.